Welcome to episode 6 of the DraftKings Life Podcast with Jason and Meg. I'm Jason Jones, Senior Recruitment Marketing Specialist.
And I'm Meg Powers, Talent Acquisition Associate. How are you, Jonesy? What's up? What's going on in your neck of the woods today?
Not much, Meg. It is a sunny day. I wish it was a bit warmer for mid-May, but what can you do? How's everything in upstate New York?
It's good. It's actually nice out, so I might try to squeeze in a walk at some point today. But just excited to get episode 6 running of the DraftKings Life Podcast.
Ditto. This week, we are excited to welcome our team member all the way from Dublin, Ireland. Welcome, Dan. Please introduce yourself and tell us about what you do at DraftKings.
Hey, I'm Dan Kesack. I'm the Director of Engineering for the DraftKings Sportsbook product, and I'm responsible for all the technology behind our sportsbook.
Nice.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Thanks for joining us today. We'll be running through some questions to get to know more about your DraftKings experience. So I'll just go ahead and start by, you moved to Dublin with a young family as you started, and now that you've started to acclimate to your new environment, COVID hits. How are you and your family doing throughout all of this?
Yeah, and thanks for having me as well. This is awesome. I'm excited to talk to you guys. But we're thanks for the question. We're doing well. We're safe. We're healthy. I have reliable employment. So I'm very fortunate right now. There's a lot of people not in such good circumstances, and kids are incredibly resilient to this type of thing. They love the Groundhog Day thing. They love just getting up and doing the same thing every day. So they kind of thrive in it. We're still, we're able to explore areas within the restricted zone that we can travel, and it's all still new to us. So, we feel quite fortunate.
Good. That's great.
Good.
I know it's been a change for everybody, but we're pushing through and lucky to have DraftKings has made working from home super easy for us. So, speaking of DraftKings, I'd love if you could just walk us through what a day in a life looks like for you at DK.
Yeah, sure. It's like most of the quarantine world. I've gotten into baking, so actually my day, can almost always start with a nice loaf of sourdough.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
But but getting into it, I sort of, I'm time shifted 5 hours, obviously, from most of the organization in Boston, which sort of means I get 5 hours in the morning to focus on the work here in Dublin, which has been really awesome. And of course my counterparts now in Eastern Europe with the SB Tech merger. So the work can kind of be strategic, goal setting, team strategy, looking at data on how the product's performing or behaving, looking at team priorities. A lot of times, I start my day just getting caught up on the things that happen in the second half of the day in US after I close down. So that part of the job is kind of what can I do to help my teams to be more effective? What roadblocks can I remove? What priorities can I set or clarify so everyone's kind of marching to the same beat? But it can also be down in the weeds. So looking at some incident or some bug to understand how it happened and how it can be prevented in the future. Reviewing technical plans, architecture, giving feedback on that stuff, are working with the engineering leaders across DraftKings to really map out the evolution of the technology. So it's sort of, it can be kind of across the stack, which is, one of the reasons I love it. I still work with a lot of the teams in Boston. So my day is sort of split in two halves that way. So yeah, it's been an adjustment, but like most of my career here, every day can be different.
So you're not busy at all. You have all the time in the world to be.
Yeah. And so occasionally I sleep and eat as well.
That's good. Well, you mentioned your career at DraftKings. So what has kept you around for, I guess, what'll be 5 years next month? Is that what I hear?
Yeah, 5 years next month.
Woo!
Kind of crazy. Yeah, the growth, the opportunity, just the dynamic nature of the company and the industry. Sort of looking back, it's hard to forget like those first few NFL Sundays when I started with DraftKings as a developer, and it's probably the closest thing I'll ever get to experiencing the thrill of being a professional athlete. It's kind of like an analogy. The work sort of begins right after the Super Bowl, for the next year, and we're planning our what we're going to do the next year, and June and July are kind of like training camp to get us ready, and then the final practices in August, and then like Sunday's game time, and
Right.
and on those days, like everyone's in the office looking at monitoring the technology, and then kickoff hits, and things are really picking up, and times where we back then especially were holding our breath a little bit, trusting that the work we put in earlier in the year and all the practices that week would sort of would pay off. Then we're watching the games, and big touchdowns happen, and floods of traffic to the site, and it's all quite thrilling if you're a tech geek and a sports fan at the same time.
So Gronk's spike was real?
The Gronk spike was real, yeah. A Rob Gronkowski touchdown that caused a flood of traffic to the site was, that was a real big event for us. But I had some exposure before that to e-commerce sites, and the work that companies put into getting ready to Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And I get to DraftKings, and it's like, well, we do that every week for 17 Sundays in a row, so that was, and at the time too, there's incredible competition, with FanDuel at the time, and we'd be trying to improve our product, and they'd be doing the same. And 2016 we launched the DK Live app, and we start down this media road, and then the merger with FanDuel's happening, and then it falls through, and then PASPA gets overturned, and I feel like I've had 10 different jobs over the last few years, honestly, and it's been the same amazing company the whole time, but the challenges have kind of ranged from a typical startup problems, to moving towards becoming a more mature organization, and then Sportsbook happens, and we're back to greenfield development and launching a new product, and building up a new organization. So really each change has presented new challenges and has sort of provided me with opportunity to learn and grow my career.
Wow, that is all amazing. So going back to the beginning, what drew you to DraftKings? And back then, we're talking about a 3-year-old daily fantasy sports company at the time. What did your friends and family say? Were you like, are you crazy?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't know. My friends were no stranger to it. I hang around with a lot of sports fans, and a lot of people who loved fantasy and sports betting and things like that. I don't know that most of my family really understood what it was at the time. That, of course, that was until 2015 hit, and the commercials and the billboards and the commercials. And the commercials.
Yeah, it was hard to get away from it then.
Yeah.
So it was kind of it was a bit polarizing. Back then, people either loved it because they were super into the product, or they weren't into it. It wasn't their thing, and they were just sick of seeing the commercials. But what drew me then was the passionate user base. Sports are so ingrained in us as a society, and we're seeing that now as we don't have it, and everyone's kind of seeing how much they miss that part of their daily lives. So the chance to build a consumer product that was such a part of that for passionate fans was so rewarding for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. So how have you liked being part of being part of a hiring team and establishing a new office, especially in a great city like Dublin? And what roles are you currently recruiting for?
Yeah, so it's been incredible. We got very lucky early on to hire our site lead, Jack Murphy, who you guys had on, I think,
Yep.
not too long
Yeah.
ago. But he's just done a phenomenal job getting the office rolling and keeping it rolling throughout the challenges of COVID. We've solved remote interviewing and hiring challenges. We've solved, we're solving remote onboarding challenges, and we haven't slowed down at all. The most exciting part for me has been taking that essence of what makes DraftKings such an exciting place to work, and what has made it exciting for me, and kind of boiling that down to something, and being able to plant that seed in a new place. Because you can't always quantify it.
Right.
It's the way people work together, or it's the unspoken process and interactions, or the way teams kind of self-organize around a problem. And it's a challenge to then try to recreate that somewhere else, but also allow it to have its own flair and its own its own sort of be its own version of that, with a new set of people. So that's been a tremendous responsibility, but also an awesome challenge. And we are hiring at all roles, software engineers, technical leads, engineering managers. I think we also have an opening for a data engineer as well now. So yeah, still firing on all cylinders here.
Nice, full steam ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been lucky enough to be a part of the hiring process in Dublin. So for me, it's been really cool to see it grow from, really just you and Jack and a couple members from Boston to where we are now. So as you've been growing and, even onboarding remotely and things like that, what's something about the Dublin team that you've noticed, maybe something special to you?
Yeah, Dublin has just it just has a wealth of software engineering talent, from software engineers, leads, managers. I've just been so impressed with the depth of knowledge of everybody that we've talked to, the professionalism, and the camaraderie that the team has already built. The people we've hired here, really, it's clear that they really care about software engineering as a craft. I've learned a lot just by watching them form into new groups, the things that they've decided to put priority on, and put a lot of attention to, and the work we've already kicked off. It's made me a better software engineer for sure.
Nice, very nice. So you all know that shelter in place has been difficult for everyone around the globe. How has your team coped with the change, and how has onboarding been for new employees, and how's that changed?
Yeah, when all of this happened, obviously it was jarring. As I kept waiting, I guess I kept watching for a dip in productivity with the teams, and not because I didn't have faith in the teams, or in the individuals, but just because of human nature. Like, this is a big adjustment for everybody, and it could have been a big distraction, but it didn't really happen, or I didn't see that. I saw groups coming together, so we saw across the teams in Boston and Dublin both. We saw scheduling Zoom game times, and 5 o'clock beers on Zoom, and just much more chit chat. And our stand up went to 15 minutes to 30 minutes, but it really starts with 20 minutes of just banter, and just people talking about whatever Netflix show they watched the night before. It's been great to just see how again, that self-organizing and the teams just kind of going above and beyond to stay connected as a group. On the onboarding side, of course, we've still been bringing in new engineers, and it's forced us to get a little more organized there, which I think has been a good thing. So we, taking the time to walk engineers through some things, whereas before we might have relied a little more on just a new person absorbing that information just by being around it. We're more intentional now about educating engineers and giving them the things they need to be successful early on.
Nice. So I know that it's been a while since you've been in the Dublin office, but can you describe for our listeners what the Dublin office is like?
Yeah, sure. Like most tech offices, we have open floor plan. We have a handful of meeting rooms. We have electronic whiteboards that we actually just got in before we had to shut the office down, which we were very excited to start using.
That was like day of. That was like day of the Dublin lockdowns, and that arrived. Yeah, that was cool.
You were there, yeah, to help us do two-way whiteboarding with the teams in Boston. But yeah, we have our snacks and munchies section, our afternoon beer section, and some gaming, nice little gaming zones. So everyone's excited to get back to it and get things going there again, because it was really shaping up to be an awesome space. And we also had just finished putting the finishing touches on the on decorating it like a good DraftKings office should be. A big big poster of Muhammad Ali and Roy McIlroy there as an homage to our location. So.
And I'll say too, ton of windows, lots of natural light. So it's nice to have all that nice sunlight coming in all the time, every day. So I miss being there. Sorry, Meg.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, I have Zoom backgrounds with Rory in the background and like the little couch section by the windows and stuff. I was supposed to come out to visit a couple weeks back. Unfortunately, we'll have to push that out, but I'm excited to see it in person at some point. Great. So this will be the last question that we have for you before we move on to our next section of the podcast. But I just wanted to hear from you, what's one piece of advice you have for a candidate who's looking to join DraftKings?
Yeah, I'd say, bring enthusiasm and passion for the things you've done. So, people who, demonstrate initiative, show that you care about something. I always say, if you're going to spend the time to do something, do to the best of your ability. So, whether it's your previous job or your side project, your woodworking hobby or your family or whatever it is, the why you're doing something and sort of the effort you put into it can be more important than the what.
That's great advice.
That's good advice.
Awesome. All right. So thank you so much for running through all those questions, Dan. We're going to transition into a 2-minute drill section of the podcast where we are going to run through some lightning round questions about what makes you Dan. Jonesy's going to start a timer for us.
Starting now.
Great. Where did you go to college?
Villanova University.
Wildcats?
Go Cats.
Go Cats. Favorite thing they do on the weekend?
Spend time with my kids.
Nice. Best takeout food in Ireland?
Best takeout food. We don't do much takeout here. My wife and I both enjoy cooking and trying new recipes there. But if I had to pick something, the fish and crisps down Black Rock Market.
Nice.
By us. Yeah.
Nice. Are you normally early, on time, or late?
I'm late. You're
You're early for the podcast.
Meg knows this well by now. I'm late for everything. It's terrible. Drives my wife crazy.
That's okay. At least you're consistent.
Right.
Do you have any pets?
I do. I have a pug beagle mix named Brady.
Nice.
We're gonna have to think about that name a little bit, but he didn't make the trip with us, unfortunately, but someone from the DraftKings family generously offered to foster him for a bit. So.
That's great.
Oh, so cute. Favorite mobile app?
DraftKings Sportsbook, of course.
There we go.
I've being here, I've come to love TransferWise, which is an app that lets you kind of move money between different currencies as you travel. So that's been
cool.
super awesome for us.
Awesome. 18 seconds. Tabs or spaces?
Tabs. It's faster.
Team tabs. Favorite season: winter, summer, fall, or spring?
If I have to pick, summer. Yeah,
summer.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Favorite all-time movie or TV show?
Goodfellas.
Mm-hmm. Okay, last one. What are you listening to these days, music or podcast?
Podcasts. I've always loved the Joe Rogan Experience. He's always got interesting people on, whether you like him or not.
Yeah.
He's got some hot takes too.
Conversation. Yeah.
Big hot takes.
Awesome. Well, I think time is just about up. But thanks for running through those. And thanks for joining us today. You've been awesome.
Thank you, and thanks for having me. This has been great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. And so we're going to close out the podcast by asking you, Dan, what's a motto or mantra that you live by every day?
I always say, you do you. Ignore the distractions. Don't get caught up in day-to-day things. Just focus and get after it.
I like that a lot. Thank you again, Dan, for joining us today. And thank you for listening. And to stay updated on all things DraftKings Life, follow DraftKings Life on social media. And tune in next time. Remember, be safe, be kind, and take care.